Greetings to all. A warm Advent welcome to all of you. My dear sisters and brothers and my dear friends. Today we're Friday, the first week of Advent. This is your Pastor Yeti. The wise and foolish girls, Matthew 25, the verses 1 to 13. Then continued Jesus, the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 girls, who each took their own torches and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were silly, and 5 were sensible. The silly ones took their torches, but didn't take oil with them. The sensible ones took oil in flags, along with their torches. The bridegroom took his time coming, and they all nodded off and went to sleep. In the middle of the night a shout went up, "Here's the bridegroom, come on and meet him." Then all the girls got up and trimmed the wicks of their torches. The silly ones said to the sensible ones, "Give us some of your oil or torches. Our torches are going out." But the sensible ones answered, "No, if we do that, there wouldn't be enough for all of us together. You'd better go to the dealers and buy some for yourself." So off they went to buy oil. But while they were gone, the bridegroom arrived. The ones who were ready went in with him to the wedding party, and the door was shut. Later on, the other girls came back. Master, they said, "open the door for us." "I'm telling you the truth." He said, "I don't know you. So keep awake. You don't know the day or the hour." In the Middle East to this day, there are some places where the customs at a wedding are quite similar to the ones described here. In the modern West, people don't normally get married in the middle of the night. But in that culture, torchlight processions late in the evening are certainly known. And it seems as though the proceedings might have several stages, with the bridegroom likely to be late or delayed at an earlier venue before he arrives for the banquet itself, to be greeted at last by the bridesmaids. What else is going on here? What does this parable add to the warnings Jesus has already given about the need to be ready? Even more obviously than the previous one, this story is rooted in the Jewish tradition of contrasting wisdom and folly, being sensible or being silly. The writer of Proverbs treats wisdom and folly as two women, and describes them calling out to men going by and offering them their respective lifestyles. Now in this story, Lady Wisdom and Mistress Folly have each become 5 young girls. And the story invites its hearers to decide which they'd rather be. And obviously wisdom in this case means being ready with the oil for the lamp, and folly means not thinking about it until it's too late. It's probably wrong to try to guess what the oil in the story stands for. Some have suggested that it means good works, others' faith or love or almost any of the Christian virtues. It isn't that kind of story. Within the world of the story itself, it simply means being ready for the key moment. You can't squash all these parables together and make the detail fit with each other. All the girls in this parable, including the wise ones, go to sleep in verse 5, whereas in verse 13, Jesus tells his followers to stay awake. Again, that kind of detailed question misses the point. What matters is being ready, being watchful, being wise, thinking ahead, realizing that a crisis is coming sooner or later, and that if you don't make preparations now and keep them in good shape, in the meantime, you wish you had. There is one other aspect to this particular story which has roots deep in the Jewish context and has given rise to a tradition of hymn writing about the coming of the bridegroom. Already in Matthew's Gospel, Jesus has referred to himself as the bridegroom. In the previous parable, Jesus spoke of the kingdom as being like a king making a marriage feast for his son. Mention of a bridegroom hints again at Jesus' messiahship. This highlights the fact that the parable isn't just about the very end of time, the great and terrible day for which the world and the church still wait. Throughout his mystery, Jesus was coming as Messiah to his people, Israel. They were the ones invited to the wedding feast. They, in this story, are divided between the wise, who know Jesus and make sure they keep alert for his coming, and the foolish, to whom at the end Jesus will say, "I don't know you." It is tempting to move away from this conclusion, because saying that parts of Jesus' teaching related particularly to a unique situation in his own time might make it look as though they are irrelevant for every other time. But that's not so. It is because what Jesus did was unique and decisive, changing forever the way the world is and how God relates to it, that we have entered a new era in which his sovereign rule is to be brought to bear on the world. And in this new era, no less than in the unique time of Jesus and his first followers, we need as much as ever the warning that it's easy to go slack on the job. To stop paying attention to God's work and his demands. To be unprepared when the moment suddenly arises. Our reflection questions for you are: what in practice might being ready for Jesus involve in your life and in the life of your church? Don't go slack on the job. Pay attention to God's work and his demand. And be prepared when the moment suddenly arrives. Warm blessings to all of you. May you embrace the the warmth of Jesus' love. The ones who wants to heal you, to help you, to prepare yourself. When you come on a crossroad, when you have to make decisions, let him be the one to help you, to be wise in it, to be prepared. This is your Pastor Yadi.